You got to get them early.
Okay.
Yeah, so remind me and I'll set some aside for you for next year.
I still do.
You got to get them early. Yeah.
Well, I just want one.
Yeah. Oh, and they're so pretty. They're so pretty. The Amaryllis?
I just have to
Did you enjoy the
Amaryllis?
Awesome. Yeah. Isn't that like That's so cool.
I said last year, I sent Mark a picture, I said, oh, my gosh, this is cool. Yeah, that's what I said, that's what I'm saying.
Two things together.
She's good. $20. Oh, she's still doing that.
Everyone got so quiet.
We're waiting for you.
It's like talk.
She's got like 10 seconds. I think we all like to talk too much sometimes.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Yep. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's June 3rd, meeting of the Logan Municipal Council. Our opening ceremony this evening will be given by Cash Refugee and Immigrant Connection member, Mary De Silva. If you would come to the microphone and then lead us in the pledge, we'd love to hear from you.
Are you ready?
Pardon?
Are we ready for that?
Yeah, no, you can speak first and then do the pledge. That'd be fine.
Oh, you'd like me to speak first?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, good, I can see it. All right, Mayor Daines and Logan City Council, thank you for inviting us to highlight World Refugee Day and the important work of Cash Refugee and Immigrant Connection, or CRIC, here in Logan. CRIC has been supporting immigrants and refugees since its foundation in 2014. We are an official resettlement organization, and despite recent setbacks, continue to serve and support our immigrant and refugee community. The United Nations General Assembly, in its Resolution 5576, designated June 20th as World Refugee Day to honor the courage, resilience, and determination of millions of refugees worldwide who have been forced to flee their homes due to conflict, persecution, or natural disasters. The global refugee crisis remains one of the most pressing humanitarian challenges of our time, with millions of people being uprooted from their communities, leaving behind everything they know and love, seeking safety and a better future for themselves and their families. CRIC will celebrate World Refugee Day at Willow Park on June 14th. We request the City of Logan to join us in recognizing this important day. CRIC's celebration is a family event that brings the whole community together. It provides an opportunity to raise awareness about the plight of refugees and express solidarity with them, recognizing their contributions to our societies and reaffirming our commitment to protecting their rights and ensuring their well-being. CRIC has welcomed 233 refugees from 12 countries. We have helped them find housing, schools, a medical home, and gainful employment. These refugees have become our neighbors and enriched our community. CRIC serves many more people through other programs such as walk-in hours, and volunteers from across the valley have come together to support the newcomer families. Cache Valley has been very generous and exemplified the exhortation to love thy neighbor. Every refugee has a unique story, and their experiences, skills, and perspectives enrich our diverse societies and contribute to our collective progress. We have witnessed many successes. Many lives have been saved, and Logan is the benefactor of these new neighbors. Crick has had some major challenges this year. As with many nonprofits, we have lost funding and staff. Programs for family reunification have been suspended. We need the community and we need you. Businesses, educators, civic leaders, and each of us have a role to play in educating the community, fostering empathy, and continuing the support for the mission of Crick. It will take the collective efforts and support of the community to continue the life-saving and life-changing work. Thank you for letting us highlight World Refugee Day and share a little bit about our work. And we invite everyone to come to Willow Park on Saturday, June 14th at 5 p.m. to celebrate Community for Everyone. If you'll stand, and you'll thank you. Here, I just wanted to recognize our board members and Dan Johnson, who's our executive director, and our former and current board members here. And here are some flyers for World Refugee Day, and we'll put them, I guess, at the table out there, but we hope that you all will come with us. Okay, so let's... I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dan, for being here as well, and for the service you're giving to our community. We will move now to the acceptance of the minutes from our last meeting and the approval of the agenda for this evening.
I would move acceptance of the minutes and of tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Motion. Okay, been moved and seconded by Mark. You beat him. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our 2025 regular meeting schedule is the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 5:30 p.m. Our next meeting is June 17th. We'll move now to the questions and comment period for the mayor and the council. As you are all well aware, we have entered election season. So we will ask that questions and comments relate to other things other than a candidate, your candidacy, or a particular vote for someone, because that is better suited outside of council. So if you have questions or concerns that relate to things that are not on the agenda, please step forward, state your name, where you live, and take 3 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm Matthew Pachosi. I live here in Logan, down the river. What was it? I'm not sure if you guys actually ever ended up reading the little script that I had on April Fools or anything like that. But what I want to mention is specifically about purity politics, I guess you could say. Whenever it's something that we have ingrained inside of ourselves because we grow up in a Christian puritanical system and everything, where anything that breaks from the norm is automatically seen with skepticism as maybe not worthwhile, because otherwise it would be. If it's not now, then it shouldn't be type situation. So I just want you to know to keep wary of being able to act within the rules, even if they don't appear to be within the rules, and not condemn that kind of action in the same vein where it's like, I found my flask and everything like that. But weirdly enough, you would think typical appearances that this is a no-no, right? But it's got just water inside of it, right? So it's just water. But it's still adhering to the rules, but off of superficial values and everything like that. It would be, I don't know, me being a drunkard of some sort, right? So just a little anecdotal thing, and I apologize, I got a little bit of water there. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it to water.
Hello, my name is Chrissy Richards. I'm a part-time resident of Logan. I came to the hearing about the fossil fuel energy plants and spoke against it, and that was disappointingly voted for despite a lot of public disapproval. I asked if any of you were climate change deniers. I don't know if you remember that, but none of you claim to be. I just want to read you a couple pages from a book. It's a climate book. It goes into the psychology of why, as people who can accept that scientists, 97% of scientists are not lying about climate change, why we still take actions like locking into 30 more years of fossil fuel. Our minds and hearts are not well built to perform certain tasks and poorly designed for others. We are good at things like calculating the path of a hurricane and very bad at things like deciding to get out of its way. Because we evolved over hundreds of millions of years in settings that bear little or no resemblance to our modern world, we're often led to desires, fears, and indifference that neither correspond nor respond to immediate, sorry, I lost my spot, and local needs. We crave fats and sugars, which are bad for people that live in a world where they are readily available. We hyper-vigilantly watch our kids on jungle gyms despite many greater risks to their health that we totally ignore, like overfeeding them those fats and sugars, while remaining indifferent to what is lethal, but way over there. In a recent study, the UCLA psychologist Hal Hirschfield found that when subjects are asked to describe their future selves, even a mere 10 years from now, their brain's activity on MRI scans bore more resemblance to what appeared when they described strangers than what appeared when they described themselves. However, this disparity changed, and so did their behavior when asked to allocate $1,000 among 4 options: a gift for a loved one, a fun event, a checking account, or a retirement fund. Subjects who saw their aged avatars put nearly twice as much money into that retirement accounts as subjects who did not. It has been widely demonstrated that emotional responses are heightened by vividness. Researchers have described a number of sympathy biases that generate concern: the indefinable victim effect, the ability to visualize the details of the suffering; the in-group effect, the suggestion of social proximity to the suffering; and the reference-dependent sympathy effect. The presentation of the victim's condition is not merely dreadful, but getting worse. One group of researchers conducted a direct mail fundraising experiment with 200,000 potential donors. If the mailing featured a named individual as opposed to an unnamed group, donations increased by 110%. If the donor and the target they belong to the same religion, donations increased by 55%. If the target's poverty, okay, I'll skip to the end. So-called climate change deniers reject the conclusion, deny the conclusion that 97%, they do deny the conclusion that 97% of climate scientists have reached, that the planet is warming because of human activities. But what about those guys that say they accept the reality of human-caused climate change? We may think the scientists are not lying, but are we able to believe what they tell us? Such a belief would surely awaken us to the urgent ethical imperative attached to it, to shake our collective conscience and render us willing to avoid cataclysmic ones in the future. Intellectually accepting this truth isn't virtuous in and of itself, and it won't save us. As a child, I was the difference between a mistake and an offense. We accept a factual reality that we are destroying the planet, but we're unable to believe it. We are no better than those who deny the existence of human-caused climate change, just as Felix Frankfurter did, no better than those that deny the existence of the Holocaust. And when the future distinguishers between these two kinds of denial, which will appear to be a grave error and which an unforgivable crime? It's called We Are the Weather. Read the whole book. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick Belmont. I live in Logan. The first wrongful death case was filed against the fossil fuel industry this last week. It was a 65-year-old woman, Juliana Leon. She lived in Washington State. On June 28, 2021, an unusual heat wave culminated in a 108-degree Fahrenheit day, the hottest ever recorded in the state of Washington, according to the filing. Leon had just driven 100 miles from her home for an appointment, and she rolled down her windows on the way back because her car's air conditioning wasn't working. She pulled over and parked her car in a residential area. According to the lawsuit, she was found unconscious behind the wheel when a bystander called for help. Despite medical interventions, she passed away. The filing indicates that defendants, the fossil fuel industry, knew that their fossil fuel products were already altering the Earth's atmosphere when Juliana was born, 65 years ago. By 1968, defendants understood that the fossil fuel-dependent economy they were creating and perpetuating would intensify those atmospheric changes, resulting in more frequent and destructive weather disasters and foreseeable loss of human life. The filing adds that extreme heat that killed Juliana was directly linked to fossil fuel-driven alteration of the climate. An international group of researchers indicated that the 21 heat dome was virtually impossible without human-caused climate change. This heat dome is one of the 40 stories that I sent you before your last vote on the fossil fuel plants. It hits even harder when we recognize that 2025 will be the coolest year that our kids and grandkids will ever experience on this planet. And that's under the best future emission scenarios. We're not choosing the best emission scenarios right now. How much hotter are we going to let it get? How many people have to die? The weather is getting weirder quickly, and it's all driven by human-caused fossil fuels. How much weirder are we going to let the weather get? The idea of lawsuits may sound like a stretch to you, but and we don't know where this case will go. We'll see, but there will be more. There was a paper in the Harvard Environmental Law Review that made a case that there will be cases, there's a legal argument for every form of wrongful death, from negligent homicide and involuntary manslaughter up through felony murder, to be brought against the fossil fuel industries in every jurisdiction in the United States and, of course, other places. I've got more to say, but I want to leave it there. I don't keep bringing this up to fight with you. And I recognize you guys have very hard jobs and that you're working hard. But we've got to keep talking about these things. We have got to do better. I released part 1 of a 3-part series of editorials that talks, from my perspective, through the problems of the decisions that were made about the fossil fuel plants. This first one is why it was a financially risky decision to make. The second one will be about all the climate and other human costs that will be paid because of these types of decisions. The third one will be about how we move forward together. I hope you'll read them. I hope you'll engage with them. I hope you'll respond to them. It's meant to be a conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
My name is Gail Hansen. I live in Logan. Shooting somebody in the gut is a violent act. Shooting somebody in the kneecap is also a violent act, but it's less violent. I understand that. I would urge you to look up the town of Blatten, Switzerland. Well, you can't really, because a landslide obliterated the town. And that landslide was caused by climate change. There's cost and there's human cost. And we need to go forward and we need to do better. And no, I didn't take the bus here. I drove my car. Because those things we have to do, I understand. I take responsibility for that. And I'm also as bad as my mother about running around the house and turning off every single light, even with LEDs. We need to do better. A gut shot is violent. A kneecapping is also violent. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the council? Seeing no one, we'll move on to the mayor's staff report.
Thank you very much.
Plural.
Pardon me?
I said plural.
Before we have the Main Street Underpass report, I have an award to present. Sadie Boyer is the project manager for the Main Street Underpass, but we have an award to present to her. In a moment, I'll have her come up. But first of all, I'd like to announce that Sadie will be presented tonight with the Outstanding Young Professional of the Year Award from the Utah chapter of the American Public Works Association. Nominations were gathered from the entire state of Utah, and Sadie was selected. She was hired as an engineering intern while working on her undergraduate at Utah State, and upon graduation hired as a full-time civil engineer as she continued to work on her master's degree. And she has since managed some of the city's most complex capital projects, including the 100 West Bridge and Corridor, Main Street Pedestrian Underpass, 100 North Bridge, and many, many other road, water, and sewer projects. So first of all, Sadie, would you come forward, and I would like to present you with this award. And someone better take a picture.
Speech.
Yep, she needs to speak. She needs to tell us.
Speech.
First of all, okay, well,
Sam's got it.
there we go.
She needs to talk.
Congratulations. We're very proud of you.
And she handled multiple leaks on 100 North with grace.
Difficult project.
Yeah, it was a difficult project.
Again, we're very proud of her. And again, so Paul, are you going to give the update on Main Street Underpass, or are you going to make Sadie do it?
Ask
I don't
Sadie.
need Sadie speaking to me anymore.
Anyway, congratulations, Sadie. Nice award.
Very much so. And luckily she's here, so when I say things wrong, she'll correct me. On the Main Street Underpass, for those that don't know, in conjunction with UDOT, we'll be building a pedestrian underpass to get across Main Street at approximately 600 South, just on the north side of the Logan River. It's been a project long coming, and it's now anticipated to be constructed this summer. As an update, we don't have a detailed schedule yet from the contractor. We're yet to hold our pre-construction meeting, but it's been awarded to Acme Construction with Stanley Consultants acting as the oversight on the construction project. As with a lot of these projects, the biggest lead item is it's being constructed out of a precast concrete box culvert, and getting a date for delivery and ordering those things can be difficult. But we anticipate those boxes to start showing up around the first week of September, which means construction would likely start around the end of July, 1st of August, to get ready for that delivery time frame. Some of the restrictions, as we know, that'd be very impactful to Main Street construction. We can't do it without digging up the road and installing them. We can't do it in a trenchless type way. The contractor is allowed to take Main Street down to one lane in each direction for up to 60 days during the daytime, and then there can be up to 10 nights of full closure, but only during the night. That'll obviously be the most impactful period, is that 60 and 10-day period, and they will likely be at the same time.
Is there a way that they can sign that out at 10th West so people can, or at either that or at Golf Course Road, First West?
Yeah.
So that people are not like stuck going on some random road.
Yes, there's a lot of requirements in the contract with the contractor for their traffic control.
Okay.
But also as they get closer and closer, they'll submit traffic control plans, and UDOT and ourselves can make comments on them, and those types would.
Just as long as we sign it well enough that people know way ahead of time.
Correct. We anticipate the construction schedule and the tunnel should be done around the end of October, beginning of November. Depending on weather, finish the project in December-ish, or maybe some landscaping, those sort of things carry on until next spring. That's the anticipated schedule right now. Again, mostly dependent on that box culvert production and delivery schedule. There is a PI or public involvement company hired with the project. They've already begun meeting with all the adjacent residents and businesses to prepare them, I guess, for those impacts. And then as it gets closer, the contractor, UDOT, and this PR firm will be having a group meeting with them, come up with a plan, and there will be a public phone number you can call for updates and those sort of things, emails sent out. But there's an update on the project. Is that sufficient?
That is sufficient. Thank you very much. And I'm sure as it gets closer and we're in it, we may ask for more. That's excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, and then item 6B on the agenda, an update on the RAPS funding. We had thought the county council would have actually approved all the funding by tonight. The committee has made their recommendations to the county council, but that has not yet been finalized, so we are going to bump that for 2 more weeks until the county council has made their final decisions based on the committee's recommendations. So with that, I am finished for this evening.
Excellent. So I usually give a planning commission update. There was not a meeting of the planning commission, so I'm hopeful there will be one next week. And we'll move on to board and committee reports. I'm going to let Mark do.
Do you want me to go first? I'll go first. Golf board met, and we talked about some improvements to the golf driving range and their facilities right there. Some safety concerns that we're concerned about, people crossing the street, especially employees where they have to go over to the clubhouse to get water and different things to work at. So they're looking at a couple different options that could be great improvements for the future at the golf course. Met with the Light and Power Board. There's some intriguing new power sources and projects that are going on right now. So we talked about a couple really attractive solar projects that could be good for Logan City. A small geothermal that's coming online hopefully pretty soon, and getting the hydro at Third Dam back online. So a little bit of extra power from the hydro is a possibility. And then there's a bunch of projects that they're working on this year that will hopefully help with safety, wildfire issues, get some transmission lines buried, not just up Logan Canyon, but also going up towards Cliffside. So some good projects happening there. So that was exciting. Historic preservation. I was not able to make it to their meeting. They didn't meet this last month, did they? No, I was going to say no, they didn't meet. Economic development did not meet. We did participate with the Employee Appreciation Day. That was fun.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That's always a fun activity. And then Wilson Neighborhood had a meeting, but I was unable to attend because it was my daughter's wedding. So I thought that was a good reason to not go to that meeting. Yeah. Well,
Been to one,
sometimes.
why don't you been to them all?
Sometimes. Only get one of those, hopefully. So, that was about it.
Well, yours was short, mine's shorter. I looked back and I missed the Airport Authority Board meeting because I was out of town, and the Planning Commission has not met very often. And beyond that, I went to my first State Water Quality Board meeting, which was, I've been appointed to the State Water Quality Board. So that is a whole new set of concepts that I get to learn. I was pleased that I could sit in my first meeting and know what non-point source pollution was without having to ask somebody. So
That's impressive.
So my report is extremely short. We had a lot of, we met 4 times as a council last month. We reviewed all of the budget items on the alternate Tuesdays. And like Mark, I helped with Employee Appreciation Day.
You usually have the longest report, too, like
yeah,
almost
I know,
every time.
Our last item on council business is our July meeting schedule. Ordinarily, we take 1 meeting off in July, and we could do either, I guess. One is, we're meeting, the first is our first meeting of the month, and
The
So do you have a preference? Do you want to meet both times? Do you want to, what do you want to do?
If
What did I told you last year?
Yeah.
Do
If
we
planning
have-
commission,
I like you guys.
if planning commission didn't meet, do they have a whole lot of business coming up? I
And
mean,
I've already checked with Mike, he's already scheduled to not have anything for that.
For the July 1st one?
So the first might be better to not meet if we don't have anything.
Well, you know, it's always fun to just hang out together, right?
It is.
In a public meeting.
Especially
In a
when,
public meeting.
especially when it's 95 degrees outside. so.
Well, I would like to hear from everyone what you would prefer to do, and we can make a decision based on that.
I would think that, given the fact that we know that there's nothing coming from planning, to not hold the July 1st, because if they do have things that they would want on the 15th, then all of a sudden we're pushing their stuff to August, so.
Isn't July 1st Canada Day though? Do we really, I'm just,
July 1st what?
isn't July 1st Canada Day? We can't take Canada Day off.
Canada? I've never heard of that.
Canada Day.
Oh, Canada.
Canada Day.
Canada.
Canada Day. No, I was second Amy. And I'm taking this first off. Canada Day.
Okay, does anybody else have any discussion? Sorry, we're being a little wild tonight.
I'm fine with either.
I don't have-
It doesn't.
I'm in town for both, but-
If it makes more sense, since planning commission doesn't have anything coming up, then that is what I would suggest.
There's a motion on the table to not hold a meeting July 1st and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will not hold a meeting July 1st.
Go enjoy Canada Day.
We,
And that works with all our budget meetings, right, Rich? Okay.
because we review the budget and pass the budget at our next meeting in June, correct?
17th.
And all of you who are on the television or here should come and,
Participate.
yeah, participate in the passing of the budget. We have one action item this evening, and it is a budget adjustment, and I will turn the time over to Rich.
3 items to consider. The first is a request to appropriate $4,975 for a state grant to our police department for equipment. A request to appropriate $8,946 for overtime reimbursements also for the police department. And lastly, a request to appropriate $250,000 of street and engineering fees toward related inspection expenses.
And that's the Google Fiber.
It is,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we collect those revenues this year, we're going to use them next year, so we need to appropriate those and carry them forward.
It's like Google Fiber.
Well, because they pay first,
They pay
They
first.
do.
and then they do the work, and then we inspect it.
Okay,
Okay.
makes sense.
Any other questions?
Anything specific in the purchases of the police equipment, Chief Simmons, that
Oh, he's
grant is
yawning.
covering?
I can't remember what the grant was for, $4,900 body cams.
Body cams, okay.
With good clips.
Any other questions?
Yep.
This is a public hearing. If there are any members of the public who wish to speak to this, please come forward, state your name, where you live, and take 3 minutes or less.
Matthew Patuasi, with things how they are, I think it would be more prevalent if going forward we have more nuanced details when it comes to, like you asked the question, but it should be standard practice to specify what kind of police equipment and everything like that is. I'd be curious too if the body camera footage is broken or body cameras are broken and everything, and that's why they need new ones. But also, as far as the Google Fi situation, I would like to mention to you Chattanooga. I can't remember what state it's a fun town name. They have public internet, and they ended up getting that instituted because they were tired of internet service providers, which is acronymed to ISP, if you guys don't know. ISPs are notorious for price gouging and everything because it is a critical need for our modern day society. So the Chattanooga City Council ended up developing their own municipal internet service providing. And then, funnily enough, all the neighborhood areas ended up cutting their prices by like 70% type situation. And that as we're seeing Google Fi, we start considering what hold them to a higher public standard that we can all adhere to, because you see CenturyLinks and other companies constantly coming in and out as they try and compete with the already established monopolies of AT&T and the like. Anyways, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Google Utopia is all I say. Just Google Utopia.
Yeah.
Because there are multiple cities in Utah that have municipal fiber, including Bountiful,
Providence.
All through Utah
Providence.
County.
That's right, Providence is.
And
Yeah.
it's an absolute boondoggle. If there's one service government should not be involved in, that's it.
In your professional opinion.
Just Google it.
In his finance director opinion. And just as a point of clarification, we do workshop all of the action items, though 2 weeks prior to the public hearing, and we are always told what is contained within the amounts that are requested. So
Which is
we do
right after the action items, if people like to stay for it.
Yep.
As some of you know.
So we'll bring it back to council for a decision.
I will move approval of resolution 25-23.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one workshop item, which is also a budget adjustment.
Speaking of workshops,
So this is our final workshop for fiscal year 25. And so that's why we're having just a bunch of small cleanup items. The first two are airport fire grants. And because we have firefighters located both in our EMS fund and in our fire fund, it's split in two. But it's a total of $12,000 and some change. $6,875 for our certification reimbursements for the fire department, and $5,146 for reimbursements for the EMS fund. Next is a request to appropriate $10,700, which is a donation from Cache Valley Electric toward concerts at Love Plaza during this summer. A request to appropriate $2,500 for the police department banquet. This is from donations that were received in prior fiscal years, but going toward the current fiscal year annual banquet. A request to appropriate $2,508 for fire department training from a state grant, and lastly, $3,030 from a state grant for EMS training.
Does anybody have any concerns or questions?
after this, everything's balanced and perfect in the last budget.
Everything's absolutely perfect.
Perfect, okay.
As usual.
So this, I'm always nervous because we take 2 council meetings in order to pass some of these things. And right now, we only have 1 council meeting left. So as of right now, we're
We're good, we're golden.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Are there any other considerations this evening?
Not from me.
I got nothing.
It is election season, so if you want to register for elections, you can go see Teresa 8 to 5 until Friday, is that correct? Other than that, I don't really have anything else this week.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote, but
Get out and vote.
yep, there is
You
a
don't
mayor
get a-
seat and 2 council seats.
Yep.
So
For those who-
when is the actual election if there's a primary? Like, if there's a primary is required?
August 12th is the primary, November 4th, general.
Okay.
But
So,
all the information's on the city website too, if people are curious or interested. I don't have
Okay.
anything else.
we're adjourned.
Nothing.
Done. 6:07. I feel like making up
That is
calls.
one of the fastest, yeah. We didn't have 15.
We should have had Sadie give a speech so we'd stay on the agenda.
I was
Well,
like.
I guess it was only
Teresa's
3,
wrong.
but it sure felt like.
That's a meeting shorter than
We'd
she
have been
predicted.
Right. Council could just consider
We didn't get rich to everyone.
I think your budget is